Hello, what's happening? So, we're back to more progress today on the Z. Not feeling too good, but I'm going to tough it out. Already went to the nuts and bolt store. Just kidding, the hardware store. And picked up some new, the trans bolts. And I took time and went and tried to find the engine mount bolts and so forth. Ended up not finding some of them, so I just bought a couple more pieces of hardware while I was already there at the store. Might as well. And then another reason why you should hoard everything and keep everything is because coincidentally VH45s, which is a motor that I love, their fuel rails also use the same spacers. The exact same spacer. Well, coincidentally, I got like 6 extras. Isn't that awesome? So we'll install those today on the fuel rail, and then basically then just get the old lower intake over here and get the wiring harness over here, and then start getting everything plumbed up and ready to prepare for the great journey to end up in there. It's gonna be awesome.
All right. About to get in here. Do the valve covers on the VH.
VQ. Alright, making more progress. So taking the valve covers off, and right here in the corners, you're supposed to put some gasket maker. In that corner and this corner. You can almost still kind of see where the old gasket maker was. I scraped it pretty clean, but just a dab in this corner and then a dab in that corner, and then just put your valve cover back on top. But other than that, we got this side engine mount on, starter on, probably grab the manifold and put that on, and then maybe some bracketry on this side in the front. And then I'll do the intake now, because I got the intake done. Or not the intake, the fuel rail. You can see the little spacers in there. Good thing I had those extra ones. Definitely came in handy. So that's all bolted down and tightened up. So now I gotta do is put the lower plenum, I guess you'd call it, this piece right here, on it first, and then the upper plenum bolts to the top of that. But you got to do the valve covers first, because that's underneath of it, and you wouldn't be able to get the covers off. Alright, got the valve covers on, all tightened down, and then went ahead and put the injector wiring, like sub harness I suppose, on there. Hangs out the back here. And then put a intake gasket on, the lower intake gasket on, and then this hose was super, what do you call it, like dry rotted, like almost basically turned to plastic. It's supposed to be rubber, so I used my nice fancy HPS brand tubing. It's pretty sweet, it's clear tube, but I used this factory little foam thing on here, that way it won't rub against the actual case and then over time cause a hole or wear through or whatever. So but now about to grab this lower intake, throw it on there. Got the lower intake on, and then I didn't realize, but this car has a intake spacer, I guess you'd call it. So there's a brand new gasket that goes on the bottom side of this, that goes underneath that little plate that goes sideways right here. But I couldn't find another gasket that would go in between the top half and the spacer. So I'm going to have to do some research and see if there's supposed to be one there or if it's just flat to flat, or if you're supposed to silicone it, or what the... Trying to figure out what the deal is there. I also put on the, what are these called? It's kind of like a solenoid of some sort. Like VTC or something along those lines. Or like VTech, I guess, or something. On both sides. But it's looking good on this side. Engine mount on. Then I got this little block off plate down here by the trans. Probably super hard to see, but so they have the same, like, where the starter would be on both sides. It's pretty cool. Makes me think that they use these same blocks in other cars that are right-hand drive. It'll go around the steering rack. Seems like it makes sense. But tomorrow, I'll try and figure out this gasket, whatever the deal is with that bad boy. And then I'm going to work on all the accessories and getting all those bolted on. And then it's basically headers and coil packs, I guess. Coil pack sub harness, and then throw a little bit of harness on, or the little bit of the engine harness that it'll plug in, and then slap it on in there. So hopefully be doing that tomorrow. I imagine we'll be doing that tomorrow. Oh, here's that plastic tube or that rubber tube I was talking about, but it like...
Oh yeah, you forgot to do that before you put the fucking
It's supposed to be
intake on.
No, I already put this other hose in place, but this is was rubber. It's like plastic now. It's like hardened plastic. It's all cracking on the edges and stuff. So that's the main reason why I threw that tube in there.
Oh, you already did a video on that?